Welcome to the July golf course renovation video update. I can't believe it's already been 8 weeks since our last one. So many great changes out on the golf course. You're going to get to see a lot of sodded areas, all of the new designs, as well as the sprigging process. Hope you enjoy. Although we didn't have an opportunity to renovate all the holes down the floodway this year, as you know, we're getting those done next year. I just wanted to show them here on 16 how well these greens are growing in. This one's a great example. It's about middle of the road. 14 is really starting to grow in a lot, and 4 is a little bit behind, but 16 is probably average for them right now. And it's amazing. We'll show some pictures before and after and along the way of how much these greens have grown in the last 6 weeks or so. Give you a good idea as you see the other holes, what they should look like as we move into September. We're gonna start the tour on number 6 this time. Really the first hole that we've done in terms of an actual renovation to it. I know we talked just a moment ago about the way the sprigs are looking on those floodway holes, but this is the first one that we've really done a full renovation to. And Chris is in the process of watering a lot of the new sod in and around the green, so we won't get really close. But we're standing about 40 yards away up in the rough on the right-hand side, up above the hole, so you can really see the shape of the green, and also that one very intimidating bunker right in the middle, short of the green. The green teardrops around that bunker, and Billy actually created a small little plateau just over the bunker in the middle where he'll actually be able to have a middle hole location. But it's really going to depend on what side of that flag is, on what side of the fairway you're going to want to be on to attack it, because you're not going to want to have to hit across that ridge. It'll be really hard to hold the golf ball on the green if you do that. We're going to get up close to the green in a second. You'll really be able to see the contour changes. But what I really like about this view is that you can see how that bunker is in the middle, but everything bleeds away from it. It's going to add for some really interesting elements as you're playing into this green from day to day, depending on exactly where you land the golf ball. We're standing off the right side of the green. There's really not much of a back or front of this green. It's a very shallow green, but if you wanted to call this back right, I guess you could. What I wanted you to be able to see is that pipe that's sticking up in the air is just over that bunker, the front bunker. That's really the spine of this green. Everything on this side of the green runs down this hill. Everything on that side of the pipe runs to the left. So that's going to be the spot when you're playing in this green. You get on the right side, really good chance at making a putt for birdie or for par, maybe even for eagle. But if you're on the wrong side, a 3-putt is definitely going to be in your future. On number 9, although we didn't make any changes specifically to the green surface, it looks like the green actually got a little bit lower because we took everything around it and raised it up. This will give the ability to really bounce the ball on much differently than you have in the past, which is great on this long par 4. In fact, if you can see that white pipe that's sticking up, that was almost the front of the bunker from before. It was just a little bit behind that. Now the bunker has been pushed back. In a moment, we'll go up next to the green, and you'll see where there's actually a new bunker beyond the green to the back right corner. This slope has softened up tremendously, and if you miss it way right, instead of having the green sit way above you, now for me at least, it's going to be about head high. You'll be able to see putting surface. Makes this hole a much fairer long par 4. Standing about middle of the green on number 9, but to the right of the bunkers, you can see the back edge of the front bunker, and then also the new bunker in the back corner really gives a whole new element to the back right corner of the green, where before it was just all flat runoff with a little bit of mounds. Now if you miss it way right, you're going to have a lot of different ways you can try to play the shot, but it's going to be a really hard one, which is great because I'm about 25 yards right of the screen. It should be hard from over here, but you'll have some ability to still play it up on that right-hand side and have it run down towards the hole location in the back corner. And there's some new mounding all the way around back that provides a lot of new interest to this hole. Shows what you can do even if you don't change the green complex. As you can see by the work taking place behind me, NMP still has a little bit of grading work to do on the putting green. But the putting green itself has been sprigged, the collar's in, and I think you can really tell now, especially from this angle, how large and usable this putting green is going to be. Still has some tiers to it, still has some interest, including a little muffin right in this back part that'll be emulating what you see out on the golf course, especially like on number 11, number 17, even 6 has a little bit of that with the rollover. But it's a much larger and flatter putting green as it should be. We'll be able to get a lot more play on it at any given time, especially during tournament play. Really excited for it to grow in and for us to see what the final shape looks like in the next few weeks here. As we start the back 9, the changes at number 10 may not look all that significant because the green shape is relatively the same, but you're really gonna be surprised how much bigger this green is. 1,500 square feet bigger. We're standing up to the right-hand side of the green. If you remember, there used to be a mound that repelled balls going into this green. We're at the high point right now, looking down at the green, so shots coming up to the right-hand side will actually kick down towards the green and give you a much easier chip than you used to have. You can also see how much this green's grown in. This one's been sprigged for probably about 2.5 weeks or so already, and we're already having a lot of grass on it. Crystal top dressed it a couple more times. That'll help starting to knit it together a lot more. Much wider front to this green, and that big false front is gone. So once you get the ball on the green here, you'll actually stay on it. I love the shape of this green side bunker on number 10. We always had that bunker on 10, but it was much smaller, didn't have the great shape that Billy has provided. You can see if you miss this green left and you're down this bunker, you're gonna have a hard bunker shot. So I would highly advise, again, Billy give bailouts all the way around to stay to the right of this green. But again, beautiful shape. It's gonna look awesome from the tee. I can't wait till we can put some sand in it. Moving on to number 11, this is one of the holes that, as you know, we made the biggest changes to. Probably this, 12's a big change, and then probably 17. But I'm standing at about 115 yards left into the old green. So now we're actually more like 140 yards into the new green. You can see it over my shoulder here. We haven't started to put the sand in. They're getting ready for the Better Billy bunker process, but it's already looks like a really amazing golf hole. And I really feel like when this one's done completely with the sand in, the creek trimmed down a little bit, it's really gonna become one of our signature holes. I'm off the back right corner of number 11, so you can see what the back part of this green complex really looks like. If you miss it back right and it's a back right hole location, you're not gonna have a very easy pitch shot. And of course, you're gonna have to carry it over those front two bunkers to that back hole location. So I'm sure a lot of balls will end up back here in this little collection area. It's a little bit uphill to the green. You'll see as I walk up this hill a little bit, you will have a pitch shot that you can probably putt, maybe pitch up the hill, maybe hit a flop shot, but it'll be your choice compared to the way it used to be. You can also see there's a lot more room between the green and the bunkers than it looks like from back in the fairway. Billy really wanted to have that deceptive look, much like it is at number 13 at Augusta National. Once we get the sand in, this is going to be a beautiful golf hole. Moving on to number 12, this is another pretty significant change. As you remember, we've talked about it a lot. That really big greenside bunker is gone. The green's been repositioned much more forward. And as you can see, it's now a two-tiered green. It may be a little difficult to see in the video, but really from front to back, it tiers up to the back. Two great bunkers, both left and right, but a much easier passageway in if you're going to try to bounce it up on that front edge, which will be important, especially the first couple of years with our Bermuda greens. In a moment, we're going to take a walk back to the back corner of the green. If you miss it back right, you're going to find out that missing some of these holes long are really going to be where you're going to want to avoid. But Billy gave us a lot of room, middle of the green or on other sides of the green, to give you a bailout. But back right's not going to be fun at all if you miss it back there. In the past, if you missed it to the right of number 12 green, although the green's moved farther away from the water, you had a relatively easy pitch shot. Not anymore. This is one green we actually raised up, moved it left. So I'm standing pretty much back center of the green, but to the right of that bunker. And you could probably barely see putting surface. If you miss it over here, once this rough is grown up, you're gonna have a really hard shot to that back corner. And if that pin is anywhere front of center, you're gonna have to go back over that really deep bunker to get it close. I would highly advise keeping balls on number 12, short and left. That's where the bailout's gonna be. Number 13, although we didn't make changes to the green, is still a pretty significant change to this golf hole. We're standing back on what is the new extended green and blue tee. And as you can see off in the distance, and we'll do a video to get a little bit closer, the green sits way off in the distance. In the middle though, that big, huge bunker's gone. And now we actually have fairway all the way up the right side connected up to the green with two great new bunkers. And hopefully you can tell we took out that tiny little pop bunker that I personally hated. I hated the idea of driving it down the middle on a long par 4 and having nothing but wedge out of a bunker. So we'll get a little bit closer, but I wanted you to be able to see it from the tee first. We're standing pretty much where the old pop bunker used to be, and I'm gonna step out of the way in a second, but you're really gonna be able to see where the new fairway wraps all the way around these new bunkers. That big, huge bunker has been reduced, but those bunkers are much more appropriately sized now for this kind of golf hole, and I think will give you a great option to play it up either the right side or the more generous left side. You can see it runs all the way up the right side, but it does tighten up a little bit, and I can tell you if you end up in one of those bunkers, you'll be able to reach the green, but it's still going to be a pretty difficult golf shot. Moving on to number 17, I'm standing short of that new bunker now. This was not here last time we did the video tour. This is the bunker. It's short of the green by about 15, 20 yards. One really interesting thing I figured out as I've driven around is when you're back probably about 160 yards left in, if you're close to the water, the back of this bunker looks like it's right up against the green. But you can see here, there's a good 15 yards or so. So it's going to be really deceptive from a perception standpoint. This bunker is really here to keep balls out of the water. If you hit one that's headed left, if you're going for it in 2 or on your 3rd shot and you don't hit it great, this will catch that ball. Hopefully you won't be in the water, but you're still gonna have a tough shot. You can see Chris is watering the green right now. The one thing you do not want to do with a superintendent during a grown is ask to turn the water off. So we're gonna let him keep doing what he's doing. But you can really see the changes. To the left of the green, it falls off quickly down towards the lake. We do have it as rough, so balls will probably stop, but you're gonna have a really difficult shot up the hill. And then we put some great mounding in the back. It actually hides the pump house. It's all gonna be tall fescue. It'll grow up. It's gonna be blowing in the wind. It'll be a really beautiful hole. And as we get to number 18, you're gonna see with the bunker changes there, it's gonna make for a fantastic finish. I've moved up now, short of the green, but to the right. And where I'm standing, just to my right, is where that cross bunker used to be. So you can see now it's a big grassy area of transition into the green. You'll be able to hit balls up into this quadrant and have balls roll right down the hill towards the green. But then it does shape back into a little chipping area or into that back right bunker, which is just another beautifully shaped one. That's going to be a really hard shot, especially if it's a back right hole location, or honestly even more if it's a back left or front left hole location, because you're going to have a longer bunker shot with that water and that downslope staring you straight in the face. Chris is continuing to water it in. You might be able to see the coloration difference as you'll see compared to like 18 or like what you saw in 6. This has been sprigged for just another few days compared to the other ones, and it's already starting to get a little bit of color. We finished up the tour on number 18. Now, as we've talked about in the past, this green's on about the same footprint as the old one was. A little bit bigger, but the contours of the green, as you'll see as we get closer, have changed drastically. 2 bunkers up front are really impressive. What you can see right now in terms of the darkness, that is the gravel layer. We'll put the Better Billy bunker coating on top of that, and then the sand will come in. It'll be really impressive looking from the tee box. But if you're in them, they're going to be difficult to get out of. Now, as you saw in number 6 and on number 9, a lot of the mounds around the green have changed. Billy really thought that there was an opportunity with how much space we had around these greens to add a lot of interest. That way, if you miss it, especially to the right side of the screen, as you can see, you got a lot of mounds. So if you're a little long or a little short, it's going to really change the shot that you have. Let's head up to the green, see what it looks like up close. Finish up the tour here on 18 green. As I mentioned a moment ago, the biggest change to this golf hole were the contours of the green. We're standing right in the middle of the apron as you come up to the green. Bunkers are to my left, and you can see that it's hard to see a little bit here, but there's a false front. Then it works its way to a middle tier, the second tier, and then all the way back to the back tier. One really interesting design element of this hole is that the contours go diagonally. So the tiers don't run straight front to back. They actually run diagonally from the front left corner to the back right corner. And this false front for any balls just landing short on the green will come back into the apron. You can also see this green was just sprigged 3-4 days ago on Sunday or Monday. So no real action yet on it. Chris will keep it really wet for the next couple weeks, and then it'll start to look like you saw on number 10 and some of the other greens. I want to thank everyone for coming with us on this tour. Really excited that we're into the grow in phase almost completely, as you saw in 6 and 9. Still a little bit of work to do there, but they're finished up the sod, and then it's up to Mother Nature to help us get this thing grown in and ready for play this fall. Thanks. Look forward to seeing you soon.